Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on May 30th, 2021 at approximately 7:56 a.m. PST. We've talked about a lot of things, the most important of which, realistically, from my standpoint, is the fact that this world needs a reboot. Now, we got to do this before it shatters. Now, you can leave a computer alone until it crashes, and then you can try and rebuild it from the ground up. Or you can do a diagnostic on it and then make the adjustments before it completely crashes. Kind of like taking a plane when you're going to a nosedive. You can let it hit the ground, or you can pull it out of the nosedive, put it in the shop, and rework the thing, find out where the glitches are, and get it back in the air. Okay, so we have to look at this in this fact. Well, we don't have to. I mean, you can carry on with your head in the sand and watch the world tear itself apart. And you can keep pointing fingers at people and saying it's somebody else's fault. It's the elite's fault. It's the politicians' fault. It's the religious leaders' fault. You can point them anywhere you choose. But the reality of it is, look at your Facebook, look at your Twitter, look at whatever you want. The fact of the matter is that the negative energy that is being put out on the planet right now is being done by you. Okay, I mentioned a couple of days ago that I figure we're probably looking at 90 to 95% of the population are decent people, doing their best against all odds in a lot of cases to do the right thing, to help other people. Okay, these are the things that should be being celebrated, yet we are finding across the globe in all of the different venues of media, all the different social circles that are out there, we are finding a staggering number of things that are pointing at all the things people are doing wrong, all the things that people are doing to cause fear, all the wars, all the terrorism. These are the things that are standing out there, that people are pointing out and saying, this is the world we live in. Well, frankly, that's garbage. The world we live in has the potential of being an extremely vibrant, very productive planet where everybody can quite literally get along. Now, yes, absolutely, the world has problems, and there are people out there that are way out of hand. However, it is up to all of us to turn around and say enough is enough. Now, I've talked about a lot of different things. That's the backbone of it. But in order to do that, one has to take a look at their own little circle. Okay, I cannot change the world for everybody. As a matter of fact, I can't change the world for anybody except me. Okay, but the tools that I offer here are the same tools I personally use. One of the things I will be doing today, okay, and it's already on my list of things that I have to do. Whoop, that didn't work. One of the big things I have to deal with is, because I run my own company, Inner Voice Enterprises, as you've seen with this YouTube video, okay, it's time for me to start gearing up and making it work the way I desire it to. Now, I do have a number of things that I'm planning on doing, but one thing that is very important to me, if you're going to talk about helping people, if you're going to say this is the way the world is better off running, don't sit on your tail feathers and hope somebody else does it. Now, let's face it, technology and I do not get along well. Okay, I have a lot of trouble with technology. I have been a professional procrastinator for the longest time. Okay, and yes, I've got this fine little list beside me that I'm just adding a note to myself, right, to make certain that I take my company and make it do what it's supposed to, what I desire it to do. Now, before anybody gets any brilliant ideas, okay, Couple of things I am 100% against where it comes to my company. Okay. And that is, I've got no, like, people talk about, oh, you should incorporate. If you're planning on going big, incorporate. Well, here's the problem with incorporation, from what I've seen. And I know there's got to be loopholes out there. I'm not a very good one for loopholes. I'm very much a case of this is what I'm up to. This is where I'm heading. Okay. So from my standpoint, if I'm going to put myself out there and say, this is what I'm doing, then frankly, have I made mistakes? Are there skeletons in my closet just like everybody else? You bet. Okay. But the reality of it is that I'm doing what I can with what I've got. And everybody that I'm talking to right now, every single one of you has exactly the same situation. You are right where you are right this moment. It is from this point forward that you can change the direction your world is going in. Okay. Now, there's a lot of people out there that I've watched that go, they've said, I'm a spiritual guide. And yet they're going out and they are hurting other people. They are telling people, oh, I'm so much better than you. I ain't better than anybody. Okay. I'm barely capable of being me. But, that's my own opinion. Do I have my hiccups and what have you? Certainly. I was told by one person I should get my hair all neat and tidy and be dressed in a suit to work with business. That's not me. What I am is what I am. And the reality is, if other people figure that you have to dress in a certain fashion, clothes make the person. If clothes made the person, everybody in the military, everybody in a private school, everybody working for any company that uses a uniform would all behave the same way. Okay, they absolutely would. Now, I'm not good at acting, in case you hadn't noticed. But I have found out a couple of very important things. If you shoot straight from the hip, if you're just, this is who I am, if people desire to talk to me, reaching me is easy. There's a whole list of contact points below this video. Okay, Facebook, Twitter, email, LinkedIn. If you've got a question, if you've got a comment, absolutely contact me at one of the points below. Okay, first rule of thumb. If you're going to say something, and I'm a firm believer in this, whatever you're out there doing, I do encourage you, follow the law. Okay, because quite frankly, in my opinion, it can't handle the hassle. Not following the law. Now, the laws have to be applicable to everybody, regardless of where they come from. Okay, now, I'm a sole proprietor right now. Okay, but I've already got plans laid out for when my company gets big enough. When it gets big enough to require it, I've already got things set in place where I need them. So I know exactly the type of positions that I'm going to require filling, this sort of thing. In all fairness, I make a lot of it up as I go along because I haven't done the research. I am not one of the best read people. I certainly don't have if you will, a clinical background. Okay, I haven't gone to traditional schools and learned business. Sorry, all I've done is learned it the hard way. But the reality of it is this. If we all take a look at where our life is right now, if you're not content with something in your life, start making a change to it. Okay, 4 words. I have these. You can see just over here. You can see the edge of a sign, and that little wood sign, it's hand burnt. I took it down to the park during daylight, and with a magnifying lens, I burnt it. Okay, and it says 4 words. I am worth it. Okay, now those 4 words, where it comes to self-worth, self-esteem, are the 4 most powerful words that I've come across thus far to assist in putting that back on track. And yes, believe it or not, there are people that know that there was a time when I wouldn't talk to anybody. If you wanted to talk to me, quite frankly, you were going to start the conversation and you were going to carry it. At this point, thanks very much to a lot of work and a lot of encouragement from the people that joined me for the longest time, just over 6 years now, on Spaced Out Radio at spacedoutradio.com on the internet, R. Keith Andrews and the ET Connection. I'm on the first Friday of every month from 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. talking about aliens and alien technology. Now, I've been dealing with this my entire life. Okay. If you look up a subset of videos I do called Races of the Worlds, okay, you'll find a number of the races, a number of the concepts that I deal with, that I answer questions around live. If you go into one of the chat rooms on this show, you go in live, and for pity's sake, please put the questions in all caps, but we are literally audience driven. Okay, there are very few questions I won't answer, and the ones that I won't answer, I'll tell you right off the bat, I'm not answering it. Okay, but that said, what I'm looking at right at this point is getting the message out to people, and my goal is real simple. Okay, to get people working towards the same goal. And it's going to sound a little bit, to many people, they're going to say, they're likely to say, oh, it can't be done. Well, considering the number of things that I've seen in my lifetime that couldn't be done, that were said to not be, okay, we'll try that one thought at a time. The number of things that I have seen happen that people said could not happen, and turned around and did happen, makes any argument that somebody tells me it can't be done and throws it right out the window. Now, it is true that many people have stolen concepts, they've stolen patents and what have you. I mean, the amount of greed and debauchery in the world today is absolutely appalling, especially when you look at the number of religious outlets and religious venues where the religions are telling people, be nice. This is a world we are supposed to be loving each other. And yet there is so much greed, so much debauchery that you, as individuals, are reposting around the world. Okay, there are posts going out showing who ripped off who killed who murdered from who embezzled what. But that's such a small percentage of what goes on this planet. You'd think with the amount that you see that's negative out there, I'd walk out my front door and there'd be a firefight going on. Or I'd walk out the front door and every day my car would have been stolen. Because this is what everybody keeps posting. Oh, the world is such a terrible place. Well, the world's a terrible place because you ain't doing anything about it. You want to stop the world from being a terrible place? Start communicating with the people beside you. Do not worry so much about what their skin color is. Don't worry about where they came from. Oh, the immigrants. Well, guess what? We're in Canada. You may well be in the United States. The country was built on immigrants. Even the so-called First Nations were immigrants at one point. Okay. However, this said, anybody that is born in Canada, in the United States, in France, doesn't matter. Wherever you're born, you're native to that country. Okay, and it's time you start realizing that this world that we're standing on, that we are poisoning, that we are destroying, it is time to realize that that is the world that you have to have. And if you kill it off, if you cause irreparable damage to it, you're not going to be breathing either. As a matter of fact, I know what I'm going to do. I wrote a poem a while ago, and I'm just making a note for myself to make sure I get it posted. Okay, if I had it handy, I'd read it right now, but I don't. So I will put it out. But I did write it. I do have it copyrighted already, and I will post it shortly. I had it actually copyrighted back in 2016. So that is one of the things that I'm going to be posting today. I've just made a list of a note for myself to make sure I get to it. Okay. And again, the reason for the note is because in order to change your world to what you consider the better, it's easy to do it if you identify the things you're not happy with. Don't worry about where it's going. Look at where it is. What are you not content with? If you eliminate the things in your life that you're not content with, okay, you change them to something else, then all you're going to be left with is a world that you're content with. And if your world in your local place, i.e. your home, your office, wherever you happen to spend the majority of your time, start there. Okay, eliminate the things that you're not content with, and all you're left with is a world that you are content with. This becomes your sanctum sanctorum. This becomes that nice little place where you can relax, where you can recenter yourself, and you can be content, giving you the capacity to go out and deal with other people in a more functional fashion. I do have to keep these on. My eyes are healing, but it's just at that funny distance when I want to look at the time. When I desire to look at the time, I can't quite see it. I know where it's supposed to be, but now, that said, what I'm working on at this point is going through a whole bunch of changes I've got to get dealt with. And, it's a question of just going, this is what I'm aiming for. Now, I cannot change your world. Nobody on the planet can change your personal world except you. And it really boils down to this. Are you content with the way your world is right this moment? If not, put a list together and start with only 3 things. Okay, start with just 3 things that you're not content with. Make a change to them. Now, the 3 things may be something as simple. I'm not happy with the fact my dishes aren't done right now. Put it on your list. 15 minutes to half an hour for each task. Okay, and there's a lot of reasons behind that. But 15 minutes to half an hour. Get the job done. Check it off. Put a 3rd one at the bottom. Don't forget to put in such neat little things as, I've got to have breakfast. I've got to have a meal. Now, before people worry about breakfast, and this is just kind of a side note, okay, never mind what you eat for breakfast. Breakfast, break fast. Regardless of the time you do it, the first meal of the day is when you're breaking your fast, when you're having your first meal. That's all it says. And that first meal is the one that is of the most importance. Now, it's funny, I talked to doctors, I talked to nutritionists, and it was if you will, it was a layman that gave me the best advice that anybody had given me. Given I've got blood pressure problems, I've got sugar problems, I've got a number of things that aren't working perfectly. And because I know it was doing something ineffective, and I had to get it straightened out, I went to the doctor first. The doctor gave me some information, and surprise of surprises, here's some pills to help straighten you out. Well, I'm sure they help to a degree, but I talked to a layman, and they went, here's a meal that works for me. Now, and she says, give that a try. So the reality is, I did. Net result, my energy has gone through the roof, my blood pressure has collapsed down to a functional level. Like, it's gone down 40 points in the last month. Okay, I don't know what it is right now because I didn't check it. Make the changes. All the guidance in the world is pointless if you're not going to use it. Now, I've been dealing with consulting, personal and business, and alien beings, alien technologies. I don't care, it doesn't matter to me what the person is. It doesn't make any difference at all where they came from. Whether they've had a past dealing with drugs or dealing with criminal activity, whether they're a multi-millionaire, whether they're just a standard run-of-the-joe, whatever. Some of the nicest people I've run into do not stand out in a crowd. They're members of the crowd. But the reality is, to make this world a better place, we have to look at the world as a unified front. Take a look at the religion that you're following. Is that religion telling you fear your creator? Absolutely be terrified because he's vengeful, he's a jealous God, he's a vengeful God. I'll tell you, Do I believe in God? Absolutely. But no way on the planet or anywhere else do I fear him. Do I respect him? Do I turn to him for guidance? Certainly. Okay. Much as you turn to the people around you for guidance. Heck, if I want news, I don't listen to what's being posted on the mainstream media. I don't read the headlines or anything else for that matter on Facebook. Aside from if somebody sends me something directly asking me for information on it. Okay, if I want news, I go out, I'll talk to the trees. I'll talk to the wind. Okay, I'll talk to God, I'll talk to Mother Earth. Okay, it's very simple for me. Now, I've got a different way of looking at the world, and I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. It's just what it is. Okay, now, the reality of it is, where it comes to this, I mean, in case you haven't noticed, I drink a lot of coffee. Might be part of the problem, not likely. Okay, but what I did find is because I drink, quite frankly, very weak coffee. Simply put, most people that I know, when they make a 12-cup pot, they put 4 tablespoons of coffee grounds in it to make their coffee. I put 4 tablespoons into a 30-cup urn. Like I said, my coffee is not strong, but it does get me the water in my system so that I'm hydrated enough. The reality is, I've got to rework the direction my company is going so that it can do exactly what I desire it to do. Now, what I'm aiming at is very simple. I've got a number of books. Yeah, you can't quite see them in the video there. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I was going to turn it, but I've got a number of books I've already written. If you look at the bottom of the video, you'll find a list of different books I've written. Okay, one of which that is of utmost importance in my opinion is one called Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. If you look at the list below, you'll see where it is. You can order it straight through me. The idea is very simple. I kept having to answer the exact same questions, so I put it into a book. Okay, when I'm talking UFOs, I'm talking alien technologies. I've written a book called Races of the Worlds that documents all the ones I've personally dealt with. Now, I'm not asking you to believe what I'm doing. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you, do your own research. Many of the things that I've learned, many of the things that I remember come from a time when most people think you can't remember that. Well, here's the thing. I remember my past life, my past lives. Some of them in great detail. Okay, so now what I'm doing is pulling all that information to the foreground, putting it on paper, getting my business built, literally, so that I can change my entire world and the world of those closest to me. And by side effect, I'll be more equipped to deal with the people I have to deal with. When I leave the house, I'll be in better shape, better able to cope with people. Okay, better able to cope with the problems that are coming on. That came out well. Better able to cope with the problems that are taking place in the world. Okay, we are finally starting to move forward, and it's about time we did, but we cannot afford to put this world back to what it was, with greed, fear, debauchery, abuse, addiction. These things can all be cured. They can all be dealt with. People that tell you, oh, if you're an alcoholic for life. You'll always be an alcoholic. You'll always have that monkey on your back. Well, call it what you will. I used to drink a 26er a night, but I got told quite emphatically that because when I quit cold turkey without withdrawals and without a support system, I wasn't truly addicted. Well, I don't care whether I was addicted or what the story was. I was killing a 26er a night, and I was backing it up with a minimum of 6 lines of cocaine. Now, this is not what I do now at this point. I drink once, maybe twice a year on the whole, right? So needless to say, killing a 26er takes a few years. Okay, haven't touched drugs. I have a major problem taking medication, as in I don't like the stuff. Okay, but what I do like is getting my health back in order. These fine glasses I keep taking off, I keep taking them off because I don't like them. Okay, I require them for driving at this point, and like I said, much as I can see fine up close, even at this distance, at arm's length, I can't really read what I'm looking at. Okay, but it is stuff that can be corrected. My eyes used to be at the point where I'd hold them right there, and you can see that's not very far away. But it used to be that I could not physically see my glasses. I've got 20/20 eyesight for reading now. Okay, like this writing, I don't expect you to read it, but I can hold it right here at that distance, and I can read it clear as a bell. And you'll just have to take my word for that. It's not a question of I'm better than anybody. All that I do, thou shalt do and more, is the best way I ever heard it put. Okay, if I can do it, there's no reason on the planet you can't. Okay, well, there might be. I know of one individual that their dream is to become a world recognized MMA fighter. Okay, and I've made a decision. I'm going to do what I can to help them. I keep telling people, if you've got a dream, absolutely push to have your dream happen. If you can help somebody attain a dream, do your best to help if you can do it. Don't cripple yourself in the process. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is overextending themselves, trying to take care of everybody else. Okay, and it's a great idea, but if you overextend yourself, now you're going to rely on somebody else to get you back on your feet. Right now, I'm sitting in good shape. I intend to get in better shape, all the way across the board. Okay, but this world, when we choose to work together, okay, I used to tell people one of the easiest ways I kept my own stress level in check was a very simple other 4 letters. Actually, it was 3. I choose peace. Now, wars happen. I am not debating that, and I've always said I'm a very strong supporter of the people that join the military, that join the police force and the first responders to help people. I'm absolutely a firm supporter of them. Okay, the military, I've always been a supporter of the people joining. I have made no bones about the fact that I question the direction that many of the military leaders take it. But then, I encourage people to go to church. And I am a firm believer that going to church or going to a group that you can deal with, that think in a like way, that you can get that sense of brotherhood, is absolutely imperative. However, I've strongly questioned the leadership. Okay, these people that tell you, I get my messages from God, and he says, fear everybody around you. That ain't God. Okay, that's just not the way that a loving God talks, at least not in my eyes. Okay, and then we have the other ones, and yes, I talk in terms of Christianity, because that's what I grew up in. I don't know the terminology of the other religions. Okay, I haven't looked into them, but I will tell you this. If God created everything, he created the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, every religion out there, all of that. But he gave you freedom of choice. It's up to you whether you are going to be decent to people or whether you're not. And I'm telling you, we can, working together, treating each other as we desire to be treated, we can make this a better world, a more enjoyable world, a more prosperous world, a more unified world. The list goes on. Okay, I will be back again tomorrow. Okay, I'm doing my best to get into the idea of doing this first thing in the morning, so it's not, so it's part of the wake up routine. I got a lot of work I got to do today, so give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Okay, so you can get the rest of the videos, all of the rest of the information coming out. Share the daylights out of it. My goal with these videos at this point is go global. Okay, and working together, we can do this. Until tomorrow, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.